Concerns have continued to grow about the safety and standard of genetically modified organism foods. Is there any correlation between GMOs and emerging diseases out there? This is our focus today on sound health. How safe are these items? Good evening, I am Olasumbo Mbudupe. Stay tuned, the conversation begins after this break. The program is still Sound Health on Lagos Television. Joining us via Zoom this evening is Dr. Kolawole Oladipo. He is an associate professor of infectious disease, molecular virology, and genomics at the Department of Microbiology, Adeleke University. Dr. Oladipo is also the founder Helix Biogen Institute in Ogbomosho, and he is going to tell us what are the pros and cons of GMOs. Good evening, Dr. Oladipo, and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, good evening. I'm very glad to be on the program this day. Yeah.
All right. We've been hearing so much about GMOs, genetically modified organism foods. What exactly is GMO, and why should we be bothered about it?
Well, let me say that I want to divide into two using my own terminologies. We have GMO and GMF.
Okay.
So GMO is genetically modified organisms, and GMF is genetically modified foods. So, what is mostly concerned, if you look at genetically modified organism, how did it come about? It come about when scientists are working in the lab and they want to tamper with the genetic makeup, the natural makeup, the gene natural makeup of a particular organism in order to achieve a desired purpose, either to the positive side or to the negative side. So, on the context of what we have been talking about that is causing rumor in Nigeria, even the NAFDAC director has spoken about this on several news outlets, is about the advantages and disadvantages. Truth be told, there is no system that doesn't have advantage and disadvantage. If you are drinking water, and you drink water too much, there are miscomforts that comes with it. So, what do we talk about genetically modified organism? And I'll be talking in the Nigerian context because we are in Nigeria and the debate is ongoing in Nigerian society now. We do that because we discover that the population is increasing and production of food needs to match with the organism that is ongoing. So now we need to modify some plants so that within a short period of time they can grow and we have abundance to feed the population that is increasing. So those are one of the reasons. Another one, that means that we want to increase agricultural productivity. The next one is that we have pests and diseases that are affecting our crops that will now lead to loss to the farmer. So scientists now try to work in the lab and improve the seeds so that it will be pest resistant, so that it will increase also yield. So Then we have what we call environmental stress. Some plants cannot withstand environmental stress. So plants are genetically modified so that they can withstand the stress. For instance, look at the northern Nigeria where we have desertification and water scarcity for agriculture. So they can try to modify some plants that can withstand that environmental condition and still allow them to grow and get yield for people to consume. Then another one is if you look at malnutrition. So we can also improve the genetic makeup of a plant or a seed so that the nutrients in it will increase. And Nigeria also we have malnutrition among children. So once we have that, children will be able to eat food and able to get enough nutrients that they need from such a plant. We can add, it can be fortified vitamin A mix, a mix that has been fortified with vitamin A. We have what we call bio-fortified cassava. So that by the time you are taking those things, then it's going to help the children to get enough nutrients they need to get from those kind of plants or food. Then another thing, I've spoken about economic benefits too, because it's going to increase the yield for the farmers. Also, if you look at environment, if you have plants that are tolerant to pests, the use of herbicides or pesticides will reduce, hereby reducing the environmental pollution that those compounds are causing. So we are having an eco-friendly environment that is friendly, that is less polluted. So these are the things that I talked about. But notwithstanding, there are things that it brings about that threatens. One of it is the biosafety and environmental concern. In what we mean about safety is that Nigeria is a hotspot for biodiversity. So the question is, do we have a system in place that is biobanking our native species so that they can still have history? It's like when we preserve our forest, that we still have them. So all those native species of maize that we use 6 months to grow before they germinate, do we still have those species, or we're allowing the technology to erode them away? So those are the things. Then another thing is that the way it is done. Do we have more of locally GMO plants that is being used by our farmers, so that at the end of the day we will not be over dependent on foreign corporation, thereby reducing seed sovereignty, so that the seed that we are relying on for planting is from outside, it's not from inside. So those are the things. Although people have been saying that there is a mistrust in Nigeria that some GMO food have high risk everything. For me as a scientist, it's not something that we should talk. Anybody that says that should bring data. Science is data driven. That this is a work conducted for some certain set of people for numbers of years, and after eating this is what it is that resulted to. So if they can present us data, then we can look into it together. Then another thing that it's not so good that we should imbibe by as in country is that if you go to the market in outside the country, either in UK, in US, we have correct labeling. They will tell you that this one is GMO, this one is not GMO. So I think that is where the major problem we have in Nigeria. People find it difficult to differentiate between what is GMO and what's not GMO, so that everybody can make a choice.
Okay, Dr. Oladipo, before we, because it's a broad topic, before we go further into labeling, regulation, and all that, let us know the difference between GMO foods and organic food?
There are difference.
Okay.
There are a huge number of difference because from what I've explained before, you see, organic food are native food. They are native seed. That's what the way it is. The scientific constituents of that plant has not been modified, has not been tampered with. It's still as natural as the way it is. So, like I said, in the olden days, now when we were young, maize we use 6 months before it's
Germination.
able to harvest it
Okay.
for to the market. So now we have 1 month maize which are genetically modified. So, and some of the time you can see some banana, it cut across all varieties of plants, even cassava. Talk about citrus, oranges, mangoes, pawpaw, even to the pigs, to chicken. We have genetically modified that within a short period of time they will grow fat, they will grow. The other species is so very, very unique. So we have it cut across this.
Okay.
So only what is different is the maturation time and the tolerance and the disease that all of them are resistant to.
Okay, are we not defying nature? That's my first question. And two, most people have argued that we do not need to go through hybridization, genetically modification of food, because we have a lot, but there are also other challenges, infrastructural challenges, security challenges. What's your take on that?
Now, let me start from the rear. If there are challenges, we have everybody in different sector. So those in that sector should also come up with different innovations that can solve the sector where they are. I'm a scientist. I'm a biomedical scientist. I can't leave my thing. I've been solving legal issues or be creating innovations in financing or in banking. So those individuals, those organizations in those areas should come up with innovative ideas that can also help solve the problem. And another thing entirely again is that we are not disturbing the ecosystem. Like I said, if you look at the growth rate of the world population is much more than what we have considering food production. So for us to match the food production rates with growth rate, those are the means at which we can go so that we can meet up, so that there won't be hunger in the society. Currently, there is food shortage in the world. So, and that's the best way for now that we can go.
Okay, there are so much information about GMO out there. There are also myths and misconceptions. Okay, so let's look at the fact that, I don't want to call it a fact, are GMOs pesticides or herbicides? Are they transgenic? Because you mentioned that some of these items have been modified to withstand pests and all that.
Yeah, like I said, the essence of modifying a seed or an organism is to have a better product or a better result than what we have before. And like I talk about, I started an example the other time from environment. Now, from the environment, if you apply herbicides or pesticides to a farm, you apply in large quantity. Not They are not eco-friendly, although some other studies are ongoing how to produce bioherbicide or biopesticides. But majority of the herbicide and pesticides we are using now are not still bioherbicide or biopesticides. So until we have that time, then, like I said, we may now stop using GMO. Then we go back to our bank, bring out our native plants, and I start using it. Like I started from my discourse this day that there is no system that is 100% perfect. They have the advantages, they have the disadvantages. What we look at is, do we have more of advantages than disadvantages? Then how do we manage the disadvantages of such a system? So that's what I can say on that question.
Many have argued that
Recent emerging diseases, trends out there could be related to these GMOs or GMFs, as you put it. How true is this? Are there scientific data to back this? Enough scientific data to back this, because you're a scientist.
Yeah, for now, like I said, people are saying it. I see it as a public mistrust. And another thing is that everybody's saying it. They didn't come out with evidences that these are scientific evidence. You know, you can't just say, I eat it today and tomorrow. So, and you can't look at it in isolation, because most of the disease they are talking about, they talk about cancers, they talk about allergy. The reason why they are talking about allergy are smile. You know, if you go to UK and you want to buy something, it's beyond GMO. They will write it to there that anybody is allergic to this, you cannot eat this. That's why I said that you said we are yet to discuss that. It's about labeling. So once we understand what science entails, is openness. Science is openness. So I open my findings for you and I allow you to make a choice. So for now, there are no I have not seen personally, based on my knowledge of today as I'm speaking now, maybe by tomorrow, there could be some publications from a peer-reviewed journal that, oh, we have studied this and it has resulted in this. Not in isolation, because there could be other factors that are responsible for such a disease situation in such an individual, because lifestyle is also part of it. So those are the things. Then genetic factor is also part of it. So those are the things that we have to look at, because looking at that disease, because most of the things they are talking about non-communicable disease like cancers, allergy, other stuff. Even in infectious disease, it allows us to conserve what we have so that we can be at a safer health in life.
Research has been ongoing in other climes, and I'm also glad that you mentioned we need to start localizing some of these innovations. Have we done enough research, local research here in Nigeria? Because I know it is good to move forward, to take a step forward in terms of technology and advancement. What are we doing? Have we done enough research? Do we have agencies, regulating this? Before we look at the next question.
Yeah. We have. We are doing research. We have a lot of research agencies in Nigeria that are saddled with these responsibilities, and they are doing their best about it. And that's why I spoke last time that from a few weeks ago, you can see the NAFDAC director sensitizing the people on a station, on television station. Then we have another agency called National Biosafety Management Agency. Yeah, they have the mandate also to monitor and regulate GMO in Nigeria. And I know that they are actually working about that. By next week, I will be in Abuja now to talk about something like this in a symposium that they are organizing. So these are ways they are actually working, but they are doing more work now to ensure that they enforce what is expected in terms of GMO and in terms of biosafety management in Nigeria.
Okay, so are they safe to eat?
That's a direct question from a layman to a scientist now.
Yeah, I can say that eating things is a matter of choice. And that's why I say that if you go to the market, it should be well labeled. It should be well labeled. So if I see GMO, some of the time, as I said well there, once it is labeled, you can make your choice. Maybe you are interested in eating the organic food or the GMO food. And unfortunately, let me tell you, most of the fruits that we have in Nigeria, some of them are GMO. All the apples that we buy by the road. So either we like it or not, we're already consuming GMO in Nigeria. Some will buy lemons, some will buy pawpaw, all those stuff. Most of them are genetically modified foods. So we are all eating it. So unless there is a regulation now for proper labeling to distinguish between organic food and GMO food. Even some of the maize, some of the rice, they are all GMO foods. but because they are not well labeled, unless you are buying a local rice that is parboiled, done here in Nigeria, that you can now say that you are not eating a GMO rice. So that is just the ironic part of the situation.
I have been speaking with Dr. Kolawole Oladipo, an associate professor of infectious diseases, molecular virology, and genomics with the Department of Microbiology, Adeleke University. We will bring you the concluding part next week. Please plan to join us. Sound Health continues with trending health report from around the world. Please stay tuned. The program is still Sound Health on Lagos Television. I hope we've been able to address some of your concerns about genetically modified organism foods, also known as GMO or GMF. Consuming GMO is a choice and not by force. I hope you've been enlightened on this episode. For comments and inquiries, or you have topics you'd like us to treat, please send SMS to 0035826603 or follow us on social media at Lagos Television #SoundHealth. A sound health is a sound mind. Make healthy living your choice.